Hi, friends. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Welcome to my jump drive. A jump drive, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, is a sort of organized section of jumps. There are jump drives for most of the main jump communities. Whether it is the jump chain community on 4chan, the one on Reddit, the one on Space Battles, or the one on questionable questing, and some jump document makers, such as myself, have decided that it would be best if we also have an organized section of the internet where we have all of our jumps in one tidy, neat little place. How different jump makers do this differs from jump maker to jump maker, and I will probably go ahead at the end of this video and show off two other examples of ways that two different jump makers other than myself have organized their things, just for people who are curious. But today we are going to be taking a look at my jump drive. That's going to be the main crux of this video. So that way we would have a nice little brief introduction where I could get back to making content that doesn't take a super long amount of time to make. So we are going to go ahead and start off with the supplements and everything else section. So over here we have things that are either not jumps or are not completed jumps or are out of date. So supplements, which in this context means something that is not a jump document, but rather is a sort of alternative way of play or an addition to the standard jump chain rule sets, is in my case creative mode tokens and the jump chain quest mode / questing system. These are things that people who have followed me for a while know about. These are two alternative ways of play that I have created. After this, we are going to take a look at the non-complete work in progress jumps. I actually have more non-complete / work in progress than just the iCarly jump, but this is a real jump document that I am working on. I'm hoping to complete it either before my birthday or before December. For those of you who don't know, my birthday is November 16th, so in little over 2 weeks from now. After this, we have old versions of jumps. Here are old versions of jumps that I have made. When I complete a jump, I usually list that it is possible that I will update it in the future. When I update jumps, I move the old versions of the jumps over here for that, so that way people who like the old versions can still see them, that kind of thing. So now we're going to go ahead and go back. We're going to take a look at the game jumps. These are for just regular video games. As you can see, there's 6 here. There's Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, Dig Deep, Farmland, My Mini Mart, which is a YouTube playables jump for 3 separate games, Gold Digger FRVR, which is for a simple game that you can play on your browser, Knock 'em All, which is for another YouTube playables game, and then Power Wash Simulator and Star Fox Adventure, both of which are just standard video games for consoles. After this, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the general choose your own adventure jumps. We are not going to be taking a look at the not safe for work sections of my drive, although there isn't actually anything on my drive itself that is not safe for work. It's just that some of the inspiration for some of the jumps that I have made have been not safe for work. I have a little bit of an explainer here, which is not a jump at all, but rather what it is it's me coming to explain why I've added the endorsed and unendorsed labels to my choose your own adventure jumps. It is basically me talking about the fact that I enjoy getting permission from a choose your own adventure maker before I turn their stuff into a jump, but sometimes that's not always possible, and when it's not possible, I will simply have the unendorsed label on a jump, so that way people know that either the choose your own adventure maker hasn't seen it or they simply haven't responded. That's just the way that life is. We're all on the internet, we're all busy. I have 5 different safe for work choose your own adventure jumps, but there's actually only 4 different settings here. I have 2 different types of jumps for Welcome to Vaporwave City, which is one of my favorite choose your own adventures of all time. I have a supermarket style jump, and I have a traditional origin based jump, and then I also have the Angel choose your own adventure jump, which I finished yesterday, Road Trip Choose Your Own Adventure, which I finished like a week and a half ago, and then Wed Woo Wipeout, which I also finished like a week and a half ago. Yeah, so after this, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the generic jumps that I have made. These are just generic idea-based jumps that I have decided to make into their own settings. I have one for the back rooms, which is usable for all continuities of the back rooms. It's also, in my opinion, the worst jump that I think I've made. Generic narconovella, which is for a subtype of drama, usually in Spanish, although there's plenty in English. There's generic optimistic near future, which is based off of those technology YouTube channels. Generic platformer, which is based off of platforming games. A generic royal court drama, which is based off of shows like The Borgias and also Rain, and generic Seven Deadly Sins jump, which is not based off of the anime, but is based off of the concept of the Seven Deadly Sins. In it, you're a demon, and as a demon, you get to go around doing demon stuff, both in hell and also on the mortal plane, or even in the celestial realm. It is a completely original jump that is inspired mostly by things like Dante's Inferno and also D&D style fiends, not just demons, but largely demons. So it's for if you want to be a little monster, that kind of stuff. After this, we are going to go ahead and take a look at the movie jumps that I have. I am a very I'm a very eclectic individual, as you can tell by looking at these different jumps. It's worth noting that Grown Ups is actually a supermarket style jump. It is the only supermarket style jump here, but I have jumps for Baby Driver, Camp Rock, Grown Ups, High School Musical, and High School Musical 2. Yes, I completely recognize how odd that is as a set of groups, but I just like what I like, and I make jumps about what I like. So now we're going to take a look at the Troyverse jumps. The Troyverse is the fan name of a set of works by Troy X, who is someone over on Reddit and on Questionable Questing who makes Choose Your Own Adventures. This particular person's settings tend to be not safe for work, or at least the ones that people tend to think of when they think of Troy tend to be not safe for work. But there are plenty of completely safe for work settings and choose your own adventures in this person's little repertoire, in this person's library of collective works. I really hope that that loud truck is not audible, but it probably is. However, I'm just going to keep going. I have both safe for work stuff and not safe for work stuff by him. I've completed 8 safe for work jumps by him, and I plan to do more. When I say by him, I mean based on Choose Your Own Adventures by him. Although it's actually worth noting that A Human of Earth is a completely original jump that is based on a combination of different Choose Your Own Adventures and different concepts that revolve around the Veiled Earth setting, which is effectively our Earth, where there is a magical barrier that stops humans from seeing the supernatural. It doesn't stop everyone from seeing the supernatural, and it doesn't stop the supernatural from existing, but it makes it so that we are unable to be affected by the supernatural, and the supernatural is, for the most part, unable to be affected by us. This is only one veiled world, and our whole solar system is veiled, but there's also other veils in the omniverse that operate by different rules. Our veil is a little weird because it actually lets supernatural beings exist in places where the veil operates. However, it just doesn't let them affect humans. So supernatural beings can see us, they can chill and interact with us, and if they're not doing anything supernatural, they can actually be seen by us, but we'll see them as humans. We won't notice their supernatural stuff, and even if one of them were to do something like throw a fireball at us, that wouldn't do anything. It is a very interesting setting. I recommend looking into it. There is plenty of not safe for work stuff in it. So if you want to experience the safe for work parts of it first, my jumps are a way to do that, and even the safe for work stuff is goofily powerful. So if you are into that kind of thing, you could totally come and experience it. And then after that, we have the TV show jumps. I have created a number of TV show jumps. I've created jumps for Riverdale and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I've created a live action Disney show jump, which is a generic that lets you visit a sort of combined multiverse of live action Disney shows and get abilities derived from tropes and stuff like that that are common throughout live action Disney shows. And I've also very recently created a jump for the Starz historical drama Spartacus. It is worth noting in this particular jump both that I have marked it as not safe for work in other spaces, and also that it only covers the prequel season and season 1. It does not cover season 2, which is Vengeance, or season 3, which is War of the Damned. Although you could go to that setting and endure those seasons with just what you have here, I just think that it would be a lot more difficult, and I didn't want to try and overinflate the jump with so much stuff by trying to fuse the entire show together, which is really funny because Riverdale and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, both, to my knowledge, certainly Riverdale, have more stuff in them and lasted longer. And I was able to get everything in there in one jump in each of those cases. But I just didn't think that I would be able to do it with Spartacus, so I decided to split it up. I do have a work in progress that has not been shared yet. That is Spartacus Season 2 and Season 3, technically Season 3 and Season 4. But that is not something that is one of my priorities. That said, if you want to see what some of these jumps look like, we could just click on the Riverdale jump. This one is a little bit longer. We're only going to like skim through it. Starting location, age and gender, origins. We're going to take a look at the perks. The nomenclature here, I'm pretty sure I used weird points in reference to Jughead. I could totally look back, but that would require me to do a little bit of editing magic, and I like keeping things minimal in terms of editing magic wise. So we're just able to look through all of this. There is a capstone booster for this, which is a 1-up, and also lets you get the powers of the Riverdale gang in the later half of the show. Not in the later half, more like in the final quarter of the show where things get really weird and they explicitly confirm that supernatural stuff is real. But each of the origins has like a cool power set that they could gain. I definitely think some of these powers are more useful than others. That said, there's definitely something here. There's also items. I do have scenarios as well in this particular jump and companions. I have all the base stuff in most of my jumps, and I usually tend to go a little bit above that when I make jumps, whether it is one of my older jumps or one of my newer jumps. I really like scenarios, and I really like putting them into things. I also really like having supplement toggles for my jumps, so that way people can get the stuff without going to the setting if they really don't want to. In this one, I even have unique text for the final section, and I have a little bit of a note section and a change log. You love to see me have just all of the elements of a jump, because I usually don't have like every single thing. So yeah, this has been a look through of my little folder, and then subfolders of jumps. We're now going to go ahead and take a look at 2 other ways that different people have organized their jumps before I end the video. As you can see, we are now over on Reddit. We are very specifically in a jump chain subreddit post by Pokabrat_J. Pokabrat_J is a very popular jump maker in the subreddit community for jump chains. They have created a ton of jumps, and they have created one single post that they have updated ever since, where they catalog all of their published jumps. And it's just this is a very handy way of seeing everything. They have divvied things up into series in a way more specific manner than I did, because I just grouped things together generally. But as you can see here, Here is their full category, their full library of jumps. There are a whole bunch of different ones here. It's worth noting that Pokebrat is one of my favorite jump makers. They have created my favorite Fallout jumps and some of my favorite Elder Scrolls ones. I really like their work and I highly recommend it. There's a whole bunch of things here. I will be linking this post over in my video description for anyone who wants to come and see it. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look over at one other way that another Reddit jump chain person has organized their stuff that's definitely different. So, what you are now seeing is a list of jumps compiled on a Google Sheet. There are 90 something jumps here in total. All of these jumps are by a single jump maker named FafnirsFoe. FafnirsFoe is one of my favorite jump makers. This is another person who is at least somewhat active over in Reddit. Reddit is where I tend to spend most of my time, though I'm becoming a little more active over on Space Battles and occasionally on Questionable Questing, both of which have their own jump chain spaces. At times, I'll be more active in one space or another. Reddit is definitely where I am the most vocal. It's where I am the most active. I'm also occasionally visible in the Discords. There's two different Discords for jump chains that I'm aware of that are like largely accessible. There is one for Discord, and then there's another one that I feel like it might be for Space Battles or something. I'm genuinely not sure. But there's two big ones, and those two big ones are the ones where I will be posting my jumps. That's usually when I'm the most active. But people also ask me questions about like the Troyverse and about some of the choose your own adventure jumps that I make, which tend to be my most popular. But this is a very neat way to organize your jumps. It is also very involved. I feel like you would have to have a bigger brain than me to be able to do this effectively and keep up with it. But as you can see here, there is a wide range of different jumps here. The other day, I made a post where the gimmick is you get to go on a jump chain of your own, like you yourself, the actual person, but before you go to the broader omniverse of available jumps, you have to complete all of the jumps by a single jump maker. And Fafnir was one of the people that I said that I would at least think about. But Fafnir has done over 90 jumps, and that is just so much. If assuming every jump is a decade, which you shouldn't assume, there's plenty of ways around that, then you would be in Fafnir's jumps for 900 years. I have not looked through all of Fafnir's jumps, just because, again, 90 jumps. But the ones that I've seen do tend to have the standard decade rule. So that's part of the reason why I would like hesitate. Plenty of my jumps actually don't have the decade rule. I have three separate jumps, all of which are Disney, where the standard allotment of time, and I have another one, a choose your own adventure one, where the standard allotment of time, how long you're there by default, is a couple of months. In my original Welcome to Vaporwave City jump, the default amount of time that you're there is only 2 years, because that's how long you are in the canon visit. In my High School Musical 1 jump, you're only there from, it's like December until like May of one school year, so it's like a couple of months. And then in High School Musical 2, you're only there for the summer, and in Camp Rock, you're only there for the summer. Although in every single one of those cases, you can take drawbacks or do other things to extend your stay to a decade for free or for extra points if you want. But yeah, so basically, all it'd be so long to do just this one person's jump, even though some of these jumps are some of my favorites. Some of the jumps that I really, 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 really like are the movie marathon jumps. There's the 80s Sword and Sorcery movie marathon jumps. There's the Lovecraft movie marathon jumps. There is the 50s sci-fi movie marathon jump, which are three of Fafnir's jumps that are just fantastic. I highly recommend them. They're filled with lots of fun ways to mess with settings. But as you can see, this is just a different way, an extremely dope way of organizing all of your jumps. No matter how you organize all of your jumps, I think that there is a lot of fun ways to do it. I also think that it can be important depending on the sorts of jumps that you make. I'm someone who makes both safe for work jumps and not safe for work jumps, and I have labeled all of my jumps that I consider not safe for work, although I'm going to go back and label Spartacus properly so that way anyone who goes into it knows what to expect. Although it's also a Star's historical drama, you should expect that to some extent. But if you didn't know that going into the jump, I don't want you to be caught off guard. So if you are someone who makes a wide range of jumps, I definitely think that organizing your jumps is helpful. If you're someone who breaks genre conventions and makes jumps for just anything that you find interesting and you've made a sizable number of jumps, I definitely think that organizing your jumps matters. The easiest way for me to have done it is for me to have made my drive. I definitely think that my drive was the best way for me to do stuff. I'm not going to say that that would work for everyone. I'm sure there's people who like having singular posts. There is a person over on Space Battles, I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I think it's a Harriman, who has a post over in the Jump Chain thread, which is just all 100 something of his jumps listed in order with links and stuff. And I think that's super dope. Black Shadow 111, who is one of my favorite jump makers and is also, to the best of my knowledge, not a super active person on Reddit, if at all, has a Google Doc which is just a list of their jumps, including their work in progresses, with little like commentaries about the settings to the side. So there is a very wide range of ways to organize jumps. There's no one right way to do it. I just figured that I would take this video to show you all how other folks do it. Anyways, this has been today's video. I've had a super fun time, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Bye-bye, everyone!